Hello crafters, this is Suzanne from A Creative Muse and I am here with the Layered Stencil Collection. So this is all about stencils. There are 4 very unique stencils here and you see what they create. An oversized focal statement that you stencil along with flowers, or in this case cute dots, and then also 2 unique oversized stencils. These coordinate with existing 3D embossing folders, namely Puff Dotty 3D embossing folder and Raindrops embossing folder. So you have Raindrops and Puff Dotty, and I'll go into more detail when we get to this. But for right now, let's focus on these 4. Let's get started. If you love stencils, this is definitely the set for you. You are stenciling everything. You're stenciling these floral bits and you're also stenciling these phrases. And look at the layers in the phrases. First one, we have thank you, and it's called floral thank you. There is a coordinating die if you want to cut out those flowers, the individual flowers that you stencil, and also around this whole layer of sentiments, and I'll show you that in a second. You could do the layered floral thank you only, and I did my card examples like that where I did only the stencil and then I also did stencil with the coordinating die, okay, just to show you. Next, there is Make-A-Wish confetti. Isn't that cute? So much fun. That one gives you this look with the dots, which is definitely your happy birthday, and I did put happy birthday on my example. You get 4.5 by 6 inch stencils. And next we have hello with florals, 3 floral styles, and then here again the stencils, and you also get that mask too. They gave you this to play with. And lastly, there is floral for you. So you get the die, you get the 4 florals, and then here you get the for you. All of them are 4 layering stencils, and these big ones do cut out the sentiment, and the sentiment is like bubble writing with the offset. Think of it like that with the offset. Really fun, interesting, and different. So I'm going to keep these 2 out because I worked on those 2. Here are my 2 examples, and both were done using dye inks. This one, Pink Fresh Studio Alta New inks. This one, Gina K, because I do have those little cubes of inks and I was just playing with all my inks. If you use Distress Oxide, it's going to have a more powder look to it than what you're seeing here. Okay, so now this is with 1 layer cardstock and then everything stencil only, and that's the layered floral thank you. This card base is 4.25 by 5.5, but I wanted a little pop of color behind here just as contrast on both. So both cards are a little bit bigger. They're going to be 4.5 by 5.75 inch wide, but you could stay right here. But I wanted to use one of my favorite dies, Fluted Classics rectangles, and I'm using the largest one, which gives you a perfect A2. So how you do this? Cut an oversized piece. I would start off with an oversized piece. You can always trim off the excess. And then I learned this one, I just put the stencils on top, went to town. This one, oh, she made me sweat. And then I learned something. I needed to pull out my pixie spray. I'll talk about that in a second. And everything I'm talking about, I will list and link below. Take out the stencils, and my stencils are not looking clean because of all the inking. First layer down, right here. And then you have this mask. So I put the mask in, I did my flowers, pull the mask out. Then I did that bottom layer, which is in that shade of green, then put that aside. Then I went into layer number 2. The more detailed, that will be your last layer. I did this one next in a different colorway, solid first, then here with the accent. Then the next one would be this one. See this? This is why you need pixie spray. Okay, crafters, quick sidebar. There is this product called Pixie Spray. I have had this for years. This is my first time using it, but it actually works. It's like almost putting hairspray on the back of the stencil, and then when you stick it down, you would still tape it anyway, just to make sure that things still don't move, because it's a light tack. It's not a heavy tack, because if it was a heavy tack, then it would rip your cardstock, lifting it off, etc. You know, so it has to be that balance. So it's a light tack, repositionable adhesive. Once you spray something, you can get a couple uses from it. And then after that, then you're going to have to, I guess, wash it off and spray again. You spray it 12 inches from the stencil, let dry. So I will put a link for Pixie Spray. And then you go like this and another color. And then see the details on the florals? You just have to line it up. Then lastly, we go into that where I did the light green and then more flowers again. So it's layering stencils. To do the coloring, I was using this size of ink blending tools. Anything bigger, you're going to start spreading into open spots on the stencil. You're going to go from here to here. So you need something that can go each little spot. So I used this little size and also this size. This is from the rabbit hole. I got this blending brush. And this one I think is this Altenew or is this Altenew? No, I know I have some Altenew ones too, but it's not this style, which is a standard. This is a standard blending brush. It's not this style. This is too big. You could use it for this part, the thank you. And you could also use tape to mask off things. I had to do that with the second one. With this one, I was able to fit in everything, but I didn't have to separate everything and stick down the flowers separate. This one, though, I did, because here the florals are separate. Here, notice that some of the dots overlap. I didn't even use all 4 stencils for the dots. I only used 3 stencils for the dots. There are 4 stencils in this set with dots on each one. And dots were close by the sentiment as well, so I had to tape off, tape off. See, this one is more loose. There is a difference between this and this. Like I said, this one I had to do a few times and pull out the Pixie Spray. Pixie Spray became my best friend. This one is your green, turquoise, yellow, pink colorway. Just put some gems from my stash and this card is done. I have it popped up off the card base, but you could also just have this as one layer. And this is definitely fitted A2 envelope and you wouldn't pay a lot for postage, and it has fun, color, and pop. Next, Make a Wish. So now let's look at the Make a Wish. With Make a Wish, unlike the thank you, with the die, I would have done thank you by itself, the die on top, and cut just the thank you out. I could cut some of the florals and do a layering thing. But on this one now, I said, okay, the die is only one die in this one. There are no dies for the dots. And you can see it's popped up. This is 3 layers. 2 layers of 110-pound cardstock and then that Bristol smooth cardstock on the top. This is layers of purple. And then on the top where it says Make a Wish, the detail, that's black ink. Has a Pixie Spray on it. So what I did for the first one, I had to do Make a Wish, put this in, and then blend. This one was definitely coming into these even smaller brushes in certain points, okay? Because of the overlapping. If you don't have blending brushes like this, Q-tips can work, dipped into ink. And then here was layer number 2. Now with this one, the mistake I kept making, I wanted to go up here. Keep your packaging, because the packaging shows you that this second layer is not where you think it's going to be. It's going to be way down here. I had to look at the packaging because I messed up on one of them by putting it up too high. So this little part in the W was way up here and it was a mess. So I was like, what am I doing wrong? Look at the packaging and then I got the idea like, oh, okay. See, this one goes really low. I don't know why. Yeah. This one was just a little different to do than that one. But the Make-A-Wish is so nice for all happy birthday and then with all the dots. I mean, it's worth the effort. And then you do layer 2. Coming down with it, not so high up, but more down there. And then layer 3, Pixie Spray definitely helped right here because these pieces were moving. So that helped to hold that down. And then the last piece is this one here in black. You see? And then now to finish it, I wanted the happy birthday to be on the top. Oh, let me give you a measurement with this. So the sentiment, you're looking at like 3 1/8 by 3. The thank you, 3 1/2 by almost 2 3/4. The happy birthday, that's from one of my favorite new sentiment die sets. Thanks enclosed sentiments. Love this. 42 dies. All of that. Here, that's the happy birthday. Love in black glossy foil cardstock with white glitter. And then here's all that stencil goodness. Then I popped in some crystal mixed gems in here. And the crystal mixed gems, this bottom part, the crystal part, that works so well with purple. I don't know, it just pops off. But this is a fun, unique take on stenciling. You get that sentiment stencil, 4 layers, and then you get the fun in the back with the florals. I'm going to do the For You and the Hello, but I think this set works so well with it too. So thanks enclosed from the 4-petal collection. I had to print the label of the die. Like if you purchase this, you'll get this whole thing. This with 42 dies, meaning 22 of them. This is a lot to read that way. Moving on, next card now. So we did all these wonderful layered stencil fun sentiments. Up next, we have 2 oversized stencils that coordinates with an existing 3D embossing folder. You have here Raindrop Stencil, which coordinates with the Raindrops 3D embossing folder, and Puff Dotty, which coordinates with the Puff Dotty 3D embossing folder. Now, you can use these stencils by themselves. If you love this stencil, especially this one, this is like your all year round dot stencil. Fabulous, right? This one is unique, especially if you're using it with the Showered with Love collections with the ducks. If you didn't get the embossing folder, you can definitely go with the stencil and the duck. Isn't that cute? I still love this little duck guy. You put your cardstock in the 3D embossing folder. Use the universal plate system. Run it through. When your piece of cardstock comes out, you layer. See there? You layer the stencil on top of the embossed cardstock. Like so. It matches this perfectly. It matches every single dot here. I think it's about there. And then you just apply your ink through it. So it's a way of adding color to this type of stencil, which has a lot of motion with the raindrops, without having to open up your stencil and apply ink on the inside. I know a lot of people do it. You know, they take the, oh, my mind's going blank. I want to say the roller, but I know it's not called a roller. What is that tool called? Oh, you're telling me and I can't hear it. Oh, what is that tool called? The brayer. Yes. Okay. So you take a brayer and you put the ink on and you roll it. I have watched many videos by Jennifer McGuire showing you to put ink here with the brayer and run it through, and then you get that look. I am not doing it because I have crafty OCD. I don't want dye ink on my embossing folder, because once you put pinks or certain colors on this, then your folder turns pink because it won't clean off. That drives me bonkers. So for people like me, this is perfect, because then I can put any color here and I am done. Stencil will stain, but that's what they do anyway, so this doesn't bother me. But it would certainly bother me on something like this, because I use my embossing folders a lot more. I get weird like that. I know. I just get picky like that. I know some people, they love their stamps dirty and you can't even read the sentiments. I can't function like that, crafters. I couldn't even see what it says then. And I do have issues with my eyes. So for me, certain things need to just always pretty much stay clean. Because if it's not clean, I can't see it. And if I can't see it, I'm not going to use it, unfortunately. But it's true. I've proven that to myself time and time again over the years. Puff Dotty by itself. Fabulous embossing folder. Look at all those fabulous dots. Now you can get to customize your dots. So instead of having to flip this over, let's say we want to do rainbow with this. And here you are, inking this whole thing up, trying to control it with the rainbow. Why go through all of that? No. Take the stencil after you run it with your cardstock. See? And a blending brush. And then have your inks out and go to town. I may have to show you this in a video, but it's pretty much self-explanatory. But I may still do a little quick video then for you guys, because I would like to do something probably in the rainbow too. And then you just have your cardstock with the little pops coming through. And then you take all your inks in your rainbow colors. Let's say I'm doing this colorway, like so. And I take pink, yellow, And guess what? If I don't like the blend, I can go back in. Unlike if I ran it through this, having inked it here. Here you have less control than if you come on in and then you're inking the cardstock after you run it. So this is fabulous. Fabulous, fabulous. Yeah, I'm going to do a little tutorial then. I feel the feeling. So expect to see that. Because I know I'm giving you a lot of how to work it. You might still want to see it. I'll do a card then for this one. I did play with the rain on the little ducky. Oh, but I got to play with the dots. You know what I'm thinking for the dots? Birthday. Definitely. Here are my rain. And I did gray. I did lost shadow. Distress ink. Not oxide, distress ink. Then here, that's the duck with umbrella die set. Look at the duck. And again, I took that yellow cardstock with my dirty yellow blending brush and my dirty orange blending brush, which has residual ink on it. You know what it is? Distress Oxide Mustard Seed is the most juiciest pad I have. I have bought that thing twice and it still has a lot of ink on it. That's what you're seeing there. You also saw it before. It's the same colorway. Aha! Butterfly and the duck with the ink blending with my brush. These are pretty clean, so I'm not going to get anything from them. My oxides, I could just sit here and just all of a sudden color comes out. So there's my duck all layered up, put a little blue hat, and I had this whole thing in my mind of he's walking in this scene, and there's the raindrops, and here's a little ground. That's this die. Color block scenescape. This goes on sale from time to time at Spellbinders. Love. I finally got that one. It creates nice grounding for my little duck to walk. This little die set. And then also I used I've Got You Covered. And I did Thinking of You right here. The Thinking of You is here. You stamp it out and then there's Thinking of You long or Thinking of You shorter in 2 parts. Love that. And I did it in red. So this is like, it's a gray rainy day, pop of red, pop of blue with the yellow duck. And the ground is enjoying all the rain. That's why it's nice and green. To frame the whole set, I pulled out postage edge squares. Still loving my postage edge dies. Just so love this. Love it, love it, love it. So I created a frame and I popped up the sides and put this in. But I think with all of what's happening, it popped up anyway. And it is a 5 1/4 inch square card. And this is on 110 pound cardstock, gray cardstock. Alrighty, crafters, I just wanted to show you this wonderful, unique, layered stencil collection. I mean, talk about fun. Everything will be detailed and linked below for the awesome layered stencil collection. Until the next video, and you're going to see something else new for March. Stay crafty, my friends. Bye.